Hello friends, our subject operating system has Unit 4 CPU scheduling and algorithm. Today in this lecture we will see part 6 of it. These are the course outcome and unit outcome of Unit 4. These are the contents of Unit 4. In our previous lecture we have seen what is deadlock, what are the necessary conditions leading to deadlock and methods to handle the deadlock. In that we have seen first method of deadlock prevention, in which we have seen that how to take the preventive measures so that any one of the necessary condition will not occur and so there will not be deadlock. Today in this lecture we will see deadlock avoidance. Now what is actually the deadlock avoidance is that to take the precautions so that there will not be deadlock in the system. This is requiring some additional information during the execution of the process. So let us say suppose there are two processes, process P and process Q, and process P will request first tape drive and then the printer, and the process Q is requesting printer and after that the tape drive. So we can manage these two process P and Q in such a way that both the resources will be shared among them and there will not be deadlock. There are various algorithms that uses this approach, but the simplest and the most useful model requires that each process should declare the maximum number of resources of each type that it may need. With this prior information, it is possible to construct an algorithm that ensures that the system will never enter a deadlock state. Such algorithm is called as deadlock avoidance. The deadlock avoidance dynamically examines the resource allocation state to ensure that there can never be a circular wait. The resource allocation state is defined by the number of available and allocated resources and maximum demand of the processes. Now, before starting the deadlock avoidance algorithm, we will see what is the safe state. When a process requests an available resource, the system must decide if the immediate allocation of that resource leaves the system in safe state or not. The system is in safe state if there exists a safe sequence of all processes. For example, a sequence P1, P2, P3 ... Pn is safe if for each Pi the resources that Pi requests can be satisfied by currently available resources and the resources held by all the process, that is the Pj. Pj is the process which is executed before the Pi execution. So all the resources that are held by all that Pj processes and the available resources, if the satisfying the request of Pi, then we can put the Pi in that safe sequence. If the Pi resource need are not immediately available, then Pi can wait until all Pj have finished, so that after execution of all that Pj, it will release the resources and which can be acquired by the Pi. When Pj is finished, the Pi can obtain the needed resources, execute it, and return all that allocated resources to the system and terminate. When Pi terminates, the next process Pi plus 1 can obtain the needed resources and so on. So in this way, if we will get a sequence of the process execution so that it will not creating any deadlock situation, then we can call that sequence as a safe sequence. Now For example, we can have the situation that there are 12 tape drives and 9 allocated tape drives among the 3 processes P0, P1 and P2, and the 3 tape drives are remain. So according to the maximum need and the allocated tape drive, we can find the need of the remaining tape drives for that processes. So the need of P0 is 5, P1 is 2 and P2 is 7. So in the system there are 3 tape drives are remain. So the need of process P1 can be satisfied. So the process P1 execution can be completed and it will return its allocated resources, that is the tape drive, to the system. Now system is having total 4 plus 1, that is 5 tape drive. Now these 5 tape drive are allocated to the process P0 and its execution can be performed. After finishing its execution, 10 tape drive will be returned to the system which can satisfy the need of process P2. So the process P2 execution will finish. So in this way we can have the subsequence as P1, P0, P2 in this particular example. From this example we can say that if the system is in safe state, then there is no deadlock, and if the system is in unsafe state, then there is possibility of deadlock. We can avoid the deadlock with the insurance that the system will never enter into the unsafe state. So this is the diagram that we can represent with the safe and unsafe state. If we are in unsafe state, then there is the possibility of deadlock. Now we will see what is the deadlock avoidance algorithm. So one algorithm that is given for the deadlock avoidance is the Banker's algorithm. The resource allocation graph algorithm is not applicable to the resource allocation system with multiple instances of each resource type. The deadlock avoidance algorithm that we describe here is applicable to the system but is less efficient than the resource allocation graph scheme. The algorithm is commonly known as Banker's algorithm. The name was chosen because the algorithm could be used in banking system to ensure that the bank never allocated its available cash in such a way that it could no longer satisfy the need of all its customers. When a new process enters the system, it must declare the maximum number of instances of each resource type that it may need. This number may not exceed the total number of resources in the system. When a user requests a set of resources, the system must determine whether the allocation of these resources will leave the system in safe state or not. If it will, the resources are allocated, otherwise the process must wait until some other process release the enough resources. Several data structures must be maintained to implement the Banker's algorithm. This data structure encodes the state of the resource allocation system. We need the data structure for the Banker's algorithm like that. Let n is the number of processes and m is the number of resources type available. It is the vector of length m. If the available j equal to k means that there are k instances of the resource type rj available. Maximum, this is the matrix of size n by m. If the max ij is equal to k, then the process pi may request at most k instances of resource type rj. Allocation, again it is one of the matrix of size n by m. If the allocation ij is equal to k, then Pi is currently allocated k instances of Rj. Need, it is also a matrix of size n by m. If the need of ij is equal to k, then Pi may need k more instances of Rj to complete its task. So we can find need as the formula is need is equal to maximum minus allocation. So this is the safety algorithm. This algorithm confirm us that by allocating that particular resource to that process is keeping the system in the safe state. Now this algorithm and this resource request algorithm that we will see after seeing the example. So we will see first the example of the Banker's algorithm. There are 5 processes from P0 to P4. There are 3 instances of type A. There are 3 resources. A resource of 10 instances, B resource of 5 instances, and C resource with the 7 instances. Now at time T0, the process P0, P1, P2, P3 and P4 has allocated the resources in this way, that is the P0 is having A type resource 0, B type resource 1 instance and C type resource 0 instance, and the maximum resources required for the execution of P0 is A type resource 7 instances, B type resource 5 instances and C type resource 3 instances. And available resources in the system are of each type. The instances are 3 instances of A type, 3 instances of B type and 2 instances of C type. So we can find the need of all these resources. So what we need to do for that, we have to follow the formula max minus available. Now the maximum resources required for the execution of P0 is 753 and the allocated resources are 0, 1, 0. So the need is max minus allocation, which will give us 743. Now for P1, the maximum resources required are 322 and the allocated resources are 200. So need is max minus allocation, that is 122. So the maximum resources required for the execution of P2 is 902 and allocated resources are 302. So the maximum need is 600. The maximum resources required for the execution of P3 is 222 and allocated resources are 211. So the need is 011. And similarly for P4, the maximum resources required are 433 and the allocated resources are 002. So the need is 431. Now we are having these available resources, and from all these needs we are required to search the process which can satisfy which needs can be satisfied with these available resources. Now the need of P0 is 743. This need cannot be satisfied with these available resources. So we will check the next process P1. The need is 122. So this need can be satisfied with these available resources. So these resources from this available can be assigned to the process P1 and it will complete its task and it will return back that resources to this available. So the process P1 execution will be completed. So after returning the resources of P1 to the system, now the new available will be 532. This 532 cannot satisfy the need of process P2. So we will check the next process P3. So this 532 can satisfy the need of the process P3. So all these resources will be allocated to the process P3 and it will complete its execution and it will return to the system its allocated resources. So the new available resources will be 7, 4, 3. Now these available resources can satisfy the need of P4. So that will be assigned to the process P4 and it will perform its execution. After completion of the execution, it will return back all its allocated resources to the system. Now the new available will be 7, 4, 5. This new available can satisfy the need of P0 now. Now what we have done, we have scanned all that process in one sequence. Now we will again scan the processes so that in the next scan the remaining process execution may be completed. So again we will check for the process P0. So the need of the process P0 can be satisfied with the available resources, so that resources will be allocated to the process P0 and it will complete its execution and it will return back resources to the system, so that new available will be 755. Now the next remain process is P2. So this need can be satisfied by the available resources and it will be assigned to the process P2, and after complete execution of the process P2, it will return back that resources to the system. So the system, after completion of all these processes, the system will has its own 10 instances of resource type A, 5 instances of resource type B and 7 instances of resource type C. Means here what we have find is that we got the safe sequence. Now we will check the safety algorithm. So this is our safety algorithm. What we will define here, we will define two variables, work and finish, and we will assign work available to the work, so that original available will not get disturbed, and finish will be set to the false. Now for each I we need to set the finish as false, and we will find that whether the need is less than work. Okay, and if it is less than work, then we will perform the allocation operation, and if it will not be there, then we will become out of the loop. So if the need is less than work, we will assign that need to the system, and after completion of that process execution, the resources can be assigned to the system. So the our available, that is our work, will get updated by the formula work plus allocation. So every time when we have completed the execution of the process, we have added the resources of that process to the available, so that our available get updated and that available can be used to satisfy the need of the next process. So this safety algorithm is followed so that we can get the safe sequence of the processes execution. So next algorithm is resource request algorithm. This algorithm is required if we are having some new request from any of the process. Let us say at time t1, the process p1 has requested the resources 102. So first we will check that the request which is done by the process P1 is satisfied by the available resources. That is, the available is 332 and the need of that process request 102 can be satisfied as it is less than this available. Now we will assign these resources to the process P1, so that the process allocation will be now updated as a 302 and the available will be modified as available is equal to available minus the new request. So now this is our available now. Now we will have the need. So we will find the need of this P1. The remaining need is 0 to 0. Now this is our updated available. So let us check for this particular available what is the safe sequence. Again we are having same example and we are having same available, and we have allocated that requested resources of P1, so that allocation will be updated, and according to that the need will also get updated. Now as per as these available resources are seen from this example, this cannot satisfy the need of process P0 execution. So we will scan the next process. This is the need of the next P1 process, which can be satisfied by the available resources. So that resources will be allocated to the P1 process, and process P1 execution will be completed, and it will return back the resources which are allocated to it. So the available resources will get updated. So what we are doing, we are performing the addition of this available and the allocation, so that modified available will be what, 532. Now we will check the process, next process for the safe sequence. So the process P2 need cannot be satisfied, so it will not be considered for the execution. So the next process P3, its need can be satisfied with this available, so that resources will be allocated to the process P3, and its execution will be completed, and after completion the resources will be returned back to the system, so that the available will be updated by adding the resources of the P3. So this is the updated available. Now it is able to satisfy the need of process P4, and the need of P4 will be assigned to the process P4, and it will complete its execution, and it will return the allocated resources to the system. So after returning these resources to the system, so the available will get updated. Now this available is able to satisfy the need of process P0, so that will be allocated to it, and the execution will be performed. So after completion of execution, P0 will return back its allocated resources to the system. So this will be updated available. Now this available is satisfying the need of the P2 process, so that resources will be allocated to the process P2, and its execution will be finished, and it will return back the allocated resources to the system. So after returning, we will get the resources of that where we were having. So we will get all the instances of all type of resources. So in this way we get the safe sequence again like that: P1, P3, P4, P0 and P2. Means we are getting the safe sequence with this. Now what we did when we were checking this particular request as whether this request is less than the available, and if it is less than the available, what we did, we have subtracted that request from this available. We have added that request into the P1 allocation, and we have subtracted that request from the need. So our resource request algorithm tells us same: if any process request for any type of resource, the request will be satisfied by checking some condition. If the now here, if the request of request I or for the k instances of resource is there, that is the process Pi wants k instances of resource type Rj. If the request is less than need, then we will check the next condition. Otherwise we will raise the error. If the request is greater than the need, then we will raise the error. And if the request is less than available, then we will go to the step number 3. Else we will again wait that the some resources will be available in the system and will be assigned to the process Pi. Now suppose the condition request of I is less than the available, then we will follow the step number 3. Now here what we will update? We will update the available. So what is the available? Available is equal to available minus request that we have subtracted in our example. Now what is the allocation? Allocation will be the allocation plus request that we have updated for the process P1. We have updated the allocation, and the need we have subtracted request from the need. So these three variable value will get updated, and we will check if again the step sequence or allocation of this particular resource to the process Pi keeping the system in safe state or not. If it is keeping the system in the safe state with our safety algorithm, okay, if it is keeping the system in the safe state, then only we will assign this particular request to the process Pi. So in this way, these two algorithms, safety algorithm and resource request algorithm, are executed simultaneously, alternatively, okay, for the deadlock avoidance algorithm, which is the Banker's algorithm. So this is all about the Banker's algorithm. With the examples we explain all that, and thank you.